Game on! Welcome to another episode of Two Ales and Hockey Tales with Wally. And today I'm so excited to have on a 28-year-old from Kincardine, Ontario, Canada. His hockey journey has taken him to Canada, the USA, Slovakia, Czechia, Austria, and now Northern Ireland. Came up as a puppy with the Kincardine Canucks and won her all in under 13 and was the last to do so until my fellas did her the past 2 seasons. Spent his junior years with the Guelph Storm and ran amok while captaining the squad, and for fun, twice was named OHL Humanitarian of the Year and once for the entire CHL for his work with McFaddens Movement. Then dipped his toe in the AHL before dominating youth sports with Acadia University. In his first full season of pro, was named the captain of the Reading Royals. Since then, he's been over the pond with Poprad in Slovakia, Energy Karlovy Vary of Czechia, Innsbruck of Austria, and he is now set to run amok in my old honey hole, the UK Elite League with the Belfast Giants. Welcome back, Garrett McFadden.
Thank you, sir.
You don't sound right anymore. What'd you do?
Oh, I sound good.
No, the pods. When you didn't have them
Oh,
plugged
I
in,
don't sound good anymore?
no, you sound like shit. I don't want to
Okay,
swear right
yeah.
at the start, but you sounded better before we started.
Is that better?
Way better. Oh, there's that
Okay.
monotone voice.
All right. Yeah.
So, haven't been to Belfast in a while. I actually played my last ever pro hockey game in that arena. My knee was gone after a game in Belfast. That was it. Locked up the next day. But that's a big ice surface you're on over there, ain't it?
Yeah, yeah, it's a bit of an ocean, so it's good for me right now. I can still kind of move around on the ice all right. So, but yeah,
Right.
I'd imagine if you had any ailments, it's not the most fun rink to be playing on.
No, I remember even like the pregame skates. You'd like do the four blues, and you get over the blue line. You're like, so I still got to go that far before I should bother shooting the puck. But it is a nice barn, eh?
Yeah, yeah, it's beautiful. I mean, all the facilities and all that stuff, and everything from the locker room to the rink, obviously, is stunning. And yeah, the apartments are great and everything. Everything's been really awesome so far. So there's definitely, I mean, it's tough to complain
It's
here.
probably
That's
nice
for sure.
speaking English again too, eh?
Yeah, that part's been better, I guess, in a sense. It's a lot easier navigating the day to day and getting help when you need to, and interacting even with team staff or whatever, just to kind of get stuff done, or with Taff, our equipment manager. Like it just makes it makes everything and settling in certainly a lot easier than when you're trying to speak broken English with somebody who doesn't really speak it or whatever. So yeah, it's been
Fun
good.
fact is Taff has been on the show before. Yeah, he's a good dude, and rumor has it he's one of the best equipment guys in the game.
Yeah, I believe it. He's I mean, he does so much for us with, the concerts that go on at SSC, and we're to and from the practice facility in Dundonald all the time, and he we just throw the gear in the back of his truck and he drives it from rink to rink and gets everything set up for us on a day-to-day basis, and obviously
He's got to
the
do all
locker
that
room's
for you
always clean.
punks.
And yeah, I know. Yeah, so we're treated pretty well. Obviously, he makes a huge difference in terms of all that stuff in the day to day. But yeah, we're certainly lucky to have Taff on our side.
And the other way I guess I know the Belfast Giants is I mucked her up against your coach and also attended a wedding with him. Kiefer, I thought was the biggest gamer I've ever played against. I tried to reverse hit him once, and it usually went my way when I would surprise guys. And man, he went right through me, and it hurt so much. And then he would fight everybody, and he played an honest game and hard-nosed, and I really respected the way he played hockey, and he's done pretty well as a coach so far.
Yeah, I mean, I'd argue that he probably coaches just like he plays. Like it's just he's very honest with us, and I think he expects a lot out of all the guys, and he's certainly an easy voice to kind of buy into and trust. And I think if you look at obviously the success that the team's had since he's been at the helm, and I think just this, the style of play that we try to play at, it's pretty cool. It's obviously very intense, and It requires a lot of effort, but I think, that's kind of what sets us up to have success. So,
Well, if a team all played like he did, my word, that'd be a hard team to play against.
yeah.
Another way we know each other. Well, I see your old man around town all the time, and he gives me my Garrett updates. Last time was at the chiropractor. But we always shoot the shit about your career when I see him around town. And he's a great dude. But I think the last time I ran into him and talked, it was when you were like in Slovakia and switching to Czechia. And I was like, huh, I'm like, great opportunities, but maybe not that much fun playing hockey because, like, I saw the one team, you were the only North American.
Yeah, that was I mean it was certainly a culture shift going from like North America to Slovakia, and luckily enough I was there with like six other imports, so you had enough, to go to lunch, and
Yeah.
we were sort of all in the same apartment complex, so we hung out a lot, and that part was good. And then yeah, when I got to Czech, they hadn't had a North American on their team for like 8 or 9 years, so that part was interesting. We had a couple Finnish guys. That were
Fi-
also imports as well, that had to communicate with everyone else in English, so that helped, and they were sharp enough to hang out with, and we got by.
Finnish
And
guys
then
like to get after it, eh? Did those guys like to get after it?
yeah, the one certainly, the other one,
I don't
Ika
want to paint them all
Kakiniemi, he
with the
was
same
no.
brush, but the Finns I played with and heard about, man, they could get into it.
Yeah, yeah, Ika was a quieter guy, but Juno Hutula, he is in Sheffield now. He was a lot of fun to hang out with. Certainly made that part of it a little bit more fun for me. But yeah, on the day to day, it was difficult because a lot of the stuff would just be in check, and you just kind of figure it out. Like my first day of practice, like everything was just happening and it was all in check, and then I just hop in the back of the line and try to, do the drill as similarly
Don't know,
as
don't
what I
go.
thought was going on. And yeah, yeah. So it's just kind of like at the end of the day, it's still, it's the game, and whatever. You can kind of sit back and watch and whatnot. But obviously, there's a bit more comfortability in actually hearing it in your native language and being able to kind of understand it before you go out there and try and do it. So that part was difficult. I mean, they made it, they tried to help us out as much as we could. Our video coach spoke really good English, so he'd help us out with any sort of gray areas, I'd suppose, when we were watching video and stuff like that. But definitely
What city is
a
that
different
in
time.
Czech?
It's called Karlovy Vary. It's not far from the German border, on the east side of Germany. Honestly, it was beautiful. I've never heard of it, but kind of like set in. I wouldn't even call it a valley, but just between two massive hills and built right on a river. And they call it a spa town. There's tons of like different spas and lots to do. And my parents actually came over for about 10 days, and they loved it. And I really enjoyed my time being there, and it was touristy enough that you'd run into people on the street that were speaking English. And but yeah, I mean, I was kind of surprised just by, you know, the city, just because I'd never really heard of it. But it's
But it
definitely
was
a
beautiful.
yeah, yeah, I was really lucky to kind of get to spend a few months there playing. And I definitely miss it a little bit. The food was really good, and obviously the beers were pretty good too. So
I remember when I was playing Landshut, the Czech guys would bring me back a certain kind of dark beer from Czech, and it was really good. Don't remember what it was called, but speaking of coaches not speaking English to you, my first year overseas in Germany in Landshut, coach was German, and for the most part in Germany, if you have a German coach, they still speak English to the boys, and this guy did not. He didn't speak. I didn't even know if he knew English the whole year. He would tell the drills, and I would just be like, "So, do I need to know anything?" And the Canadian guy beside me would be like, "Nah, man, just go out and play." And I'd be like, "Okay." But I actually get to go back to Landshut in February to play a charity game, and I can't wait. 18 years later, won't be nearly as nervous as when I didn't know German the first time off the plane. But trying to figure out what to do when I go back, and that Karlovy Vary sounds pretty lovely.
yeah, yeah, it's a nice spot. I honestly would send anyone there because
And the prices are
it's a
right in
great,
check
great.
too, eh?
Oh yeah, yeah, it's awesome there. I mean, the beer's cheaper than water, right? So any place you can go to in the world where where
Yeah.
that's the case, it seems like a pretty good spot, right?
Water is expensive in Europe, man. When they put bubbles in it and then they charge you like a lot to drink it.
Yeah.
It's quite refreshing, but it's expensive. I so the team you played in Slovakia, I'm just jumping around now. Todd Bjorkstrand was the coach at one point. I don't know if that was when you were there or not,
Mhm.
but he was the coach in Denmark we played against in the finals and went to game seven and beat his ass. But I've seen his teams play. I also saw how many imports his teams would bring in. They'd have extras, and they all had to play a certain way, and it was straight up and down the ice, and it was mucking her right up. I'm guessing he still coaches the same.
Yeah, he was I mean like at that point in the season we were supposed to be a lot better than we were and we were struggling and then they made the change and actually we brought in like a new sports manager and Todd Bjorkstrand at kind of in and around the same time. But yeah, it was I really liked him as a coach. Like I just thought he was a lot of what we needed at the time and we started winning a lot of games and then yeah, it sort of turned into us having a lot of imports and
Mhm.
jobs were sort of up for grabs and they decided that they, couldn't pay anyone. So a few of us had to go looking and
It was
that's kind of
pretty
when the
nice to go to the
opportunity.
Czech League, though. That's a great
Yeah, yeah,
opportunity.
it kind of worked out in a sense where it felt like I was moving up, even though I was sort of, getting
Yeah.
pushed out a little bit. But yeah, it was like I don't know, it worked out in a sense, and I got to, experience the Czech League, which is,
Do you find
that's
it,
real
it
hockey there.
do you find it interesting? Like every country plays hockey differently. Like now you've been in
Yeah,
Austria, which those teams are all over different countries, I think, in that league. But Czech will play different than Slovakia a little bit, probably more similar. But then like the UK plays way more North American style, you know?
yeah, definitely. I mean, I think even Slovakia compared to Czech, like when I was in Slovakia, there was tons of offense and the games were relatively high scoring for the most part. And then coming to the Czech League, it was like we'd be in a 2-1 game or a 1-0 game, it seemed like every night. So that part of it was interesting. Certainly a lot, maybe more attention to detail and defense on the Czech
Right.
side of things. But I think in that league too, it's just like guys were so good that it was really hard to generate any sort of offense. And then you'd see it in the box scores when games are 2-3-1 or 3-2 type thing on a nightly basis. So it's certainly that part of it was interesting. And then, in the Austrian league, like we're in Italy, Austria, Slovenia, and Hungary. So you get a bit of a dose of like all of them. Um,
That'd be kind of an
like
interesting league to play in just to see all those different countries.
yeah, yeah. I mean, for us, like in Innsbruck, a lot of traveling in day of and playing the game and then traveling home. So we get to stay over when we would go to Hungary or to Slovenia. So it was cool to get out there and see a little bit of a different country for a little bit and spend a bit of time in Italy. Like when we would play in Asiago, we would take the bus up the mountain the day before always because you couldn't do that
And then
trip
play.
on game day and then play after you drive up the mountain. Like you just feel nauseous driving in that bus, but getting up there and then kind of having the night to walk around in a small village in Italy and
It's pretty cool, eh?
get a prosciutto sandwich and
Is that what you
you
would
really
pick?
enjoy
That's
it. So
shit. That stuff's gross. Prosciutto?
it's
Oh,
good stuff. Yeah.
nah, no, no, it's not. If I'm in Italy, I'm eating pasta, man.
Yeah, fair, but
Didn't build this body cutting carbs. But speaking of going the day of a game or what have you, did you know that every away team in the league loves going to Belfast more than anywhere else?
I did not. I would believe it just because it's
In
probably a lot
Car
of
in
fun
Cardiff,
and
like when I was going back for the second season, like when the schedule comes out, boys are like, double header in Belfast is this weekend because you have to fly in and out. So after the Saturday game, you can't leave. There's no flights that night. So you have to
mm,
stay, the whole team. And if you say won that game, you can have a time.
yeah,
And
yeah,
it's like
absolutely.
the one trip that you don't bus back right after. Everybody stays and it's just the team. And usually, if we won, everybody would go out together. And it was a great team night that you'd need throughout a season, you know?
hmm
Mhm. But if you
Yeah.
guys would beat us, then it'd be, the Giants would beat the Devils. Then it'd be a whole different vibe and, uncomfortable ride home. People are upset, but it was fun when you
Yeah, of
won.
course. Yeah. And it's always more fun when you win.
It is. And I saw in Innsbruck, it looked like you guys had a tough team, eh? So tough
Yeah.
pluses minuses when the research team got hot.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a tough. I mean, it's just kind of one of those years where everything that needed to go wrong sort of did. I busted up my thumb early in the season. That kind of, not as an excuse, but set me back a little bit. And then we just couldn't
Then you
compete
probably
with,
tried to play
the
hurt for a while, which isn't fun at all.
yeah, I rushed back a little bit, but I think we were pretty cautious about it just because it was something that was going to affect me for the rest of my life. And
Mhm.
but yeah, it was just kind of one of those years where just thing after thing, whether it was me getting hurt or we lost another couple imports to injuries, and we were a pretty thin team to begin with. So if we were playing down a few imports and going into Salzburg or Klagenfurt, we were kind of in trouble. So it was
Right.
a bit of a long year, and then obviously with no relegation in that league, towards the end of the year they kind of shipped everyone out, and then
Then it's
I
just a dumpster
chose to
fire.
stay, and yeah, the last 7 or 8 games didn't go very well for us. So we're
I
eating
could,
eating minuses all over the place.
oh
And
man, I've seen that before. When I was in
yeah,
Germany, this Landsberg team were going bankrupt, and they were one of the top teams in the league, and then they couldn't pay their players. So then all their best players, all their imports, like went to the DL, left the second league, and got jobs in the DL, and the Germans went places, but they still played games with who they had left, and then they brought in some other guys from elsewhere. Man, they were so brutal the rest of the year. I couldn't imagine being on that team.
yeah, it wasn't very fun. I was
No, losing sucks.
struggling a little bit, but yeah, just I mean for what the city was. Like Innsbruck is one of the most beautiful cities I've ever been to. So that part of it was awesome. It's just kind of unfortunate that we had a bit of a stinker year because it can be a really fun place if you could get a good team
Right.
playing
Because
in that city.
I think I drove bot through Innsbruck. I never played there, but yeah, it looked really, really nice.
Yeah, yeah, it was a cool spot, lots to do, and obviously like with the mountains so close, it's really easy to look at and be outside, and um kind of a busy population. Like people are out on the streets all the time biking around and walking. So
It's a
there's
lot like Germany, probably eating outside too.
Yeah, yeah, the patios would be open all year, and there was one right down by the river where you had a pretty awesome view of like the colored houses and the mountains in the background, and we hung out there quite a bit, which was awesome. But there was still, tons to do elsewhere other than just sit at the market bar. But that place was definitely the best.
Yeah, every team you play on when you travel around Europe, you always have your honey hole where you go for
Yeah,
lunches and with the boys. And yeah, I can picture it in my head, you know.
yeah.
Well, I'll get back to this Belfast thing now that you're gonna be playing my Devils. Small world one for you. You got
Mhm.
this Nicholas Gay on your team.
Yep.
His old man was my agent.
Really?
Yeah, he was my agent until I made my own deal with Cardiff, and then said, "Sorry, sir, found my own job. I don't need you anymore." But he was my agent while I was in Germany. Good guy.
Yeah, yeah. Gazer is a great guy. I've played against him a little bit at school when I was in youth sports, and then have just kind of got to know him over the last month and a half. But yeah, I'm sure he
Yeah,
gets a lot of that from his dad, but
I guess
he's
his
a
dad was a
he's a
player
good guy.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah, but yeah, he I was with him for like 4 or 5 years maybe. He thought I was a hot prospect. Then I hurt my knee, and it just never worked out. Okay. Also, do you want to talk about golf tournaments or winning all Ontarios?
we can talk about golf tournaments first. That's cool with me.
Okay, you missed mine this time. Huh.
Yeah, I know. I was out of town.
Yeah, whatever. You're a joke.
Yeah, I was.
Love is love. Um, no, but it went good again. I did that again. I think it was 3 years later after the original one, which the money we raised the first time, we donated to your charity, McFaddens
Yeah,
Movement. This time we raised money for the hospital. And once it was amazing, this small community, like what a community in Kincardine. Once I put on the poster that I was going to give the money to the hospital, I had unions reach out to me. Um, where I work, Superheat, also donated, and we raised $5,000 for the hospital here in town, and that was a great day. Got to have all my hockey family back and friends and family, and raising money for the hospital was cool too. But it was pretty neat that we could fill the Ainsdale golf course with everybody, and me meant a lot to me. Even though some people like you didn't show up, but that's cool. But you have your own golf tournament, and I saw a picture of it again from this year. I haven't attended yours, so I get it. Um, but yours has become a real thing, and you haven't played in Guelph in a long time, and it's still going. And you have a lot of people there, and you guys are raising some dough, eh?
Yeah, yeah, we did good this year. It was our fifth annual, so it was kind of a big one for us, and we've kind of been every year sort of right around selling it out, but just never got there. And you, I'm sure know after putting on a few yourself that people are somewhat unreliable leading up to the weeks before the tournament,
When
and
they pull the pin on you like a week out,
yeah,
I had
yeah,
to tell Ainsdale that I could get 112 golfers. No idea if I could, but they're like, the only way you can have a shotgun now is if you say you can get that, you're paying for that many. And I'm like, all right. I kept hovering around 112, and then I'd lose a group, and then I'd lose another group, and then I'm like, okay, I'm stressed now.
yeah.
And yeah, when the people do make the effort and show up and it all works out, it's a great feeling. But so how do you guys promote it? How like you probably have a lot of repeat customers, I'm guessing, with the golf.
Yeah, definitely. I think we've sort of grown like I guess what I would call like the core of the tournament, and obviously we're relatively active on social media. And I think in years where we've maybe struggled a little bit with registration, like we'll run some ads and stuff like that, which I don't handle. Like Steph, who helps me out with everything, she does all that for me, so that definitely helps. But I think
It would be
with
nice to have someone help you do it.
yeah,
I
yeah,
I had a
yeah,
couple people step up for me, and it meant the world. And even like the guy that donated the prizes, so I could have prizes. He said, "The only reason I'm helping you is because you didn't ask for help." And it's like, I dig it.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's part of it, right? You don't want to ask for too much, but at the same time, like if you want to put on a good event, then you have to rely on other people to help you out. So, we've been pretty lucky, like with our presenting sponsor, Skyjack out of Guelph, like they've been on board every year to help us out. So, like once we have commitment from them every year, it helps us just to be able to run the tournament, and then from there. We know we can put it on, and everything on top of that is just sort of a bonus in terms of what we're raising. But yeah, last year we had 144 golfers, which was a sellout, like two eight or two foursomes on every hole. And for whatever reason, we just get like the perfect summer day every year. We're so lucky with the weather, and I think that helps in terms of just happy golfers, and everyone's having maybe an extra two or three or four or five beers on the course, and
Isn't it fun
um,
seeing your friends have fun?
yeah, yeah, exactly. And it's turned into it's a pretty hectic day, I guess, for me, just like with all the setup and trying to talk to guys that you haven't seen in a year or a couple years. But after the tournament, we always rent out a bar downtown Guelph and then get everyone together. And it's kind of cool to see
Full
like the
day then,
younger
eh?
generation and my generation, and then some of the older guys, and to get to just sit down and tell some stories and catch up on old stuff. So it's a pretty fun day. Like it's one of the
It would be
days
good
that
for
I
the
look
Guelph
forward to the
Storm too,
most.
then, though, to bring the older generations in with the new generations and make it more like a family feel. It's like when I went back to
Yeah,
Western Michigan for the alumni golf thing a year ago, and you see the new players, the old guys, the guys before me, the guys after me, and everybody is just cut from the same cloth. It was pretty neat seeing them win the national championship this year. But for people who don't know, why don't you tell them about McFaddens Movement and why you have this golf tournament?
sure. Yeah, we had a family friend, Wes Cameron, who's a native of Walkerton there, died by suicide when I was in grade 9. He was a really close friend of my older sister Madison's. So at the time he was like playing for the Graybers Highlanders, and so was I, and it was something that just kind of, stuck with me, like how could something like this happen? And was something I guess I kept in the back of my mind for a few years. And then when I moved on and started playing for the Storm, we were super involved in the community, and I like that part of it, like interacting with young kids and kind of not being a superhero, but just being someone that they kind of looked up to. And ahead of my fourth year, we kind of sat down and we're just brainstorming some ideas on new stuff to do in the community and sort of pitched the idea on something geared towards raising money for mental health. And then Wes's parents, Yolanda and Jamie, had just started up West for Youth online, which is like a counseling service. And they were getting going with that. So we were trying to raise money for them and then also for Canadian Mental Health Association in Waterloo, Wellington. And sort of started off as just like selling wristbands and just trying to urge people to donate money. And we started doing some ball hockey tournaments for a few years. And then yeah, over the last 5 years, we've been running the golf tournament, doing some stuff in between, little fundraisers and stuff like that. But I think it's just a cool way to kind of give back and also spread a message that I care about. And I think, the hockey world is a pretty tough place to be sometimes. And, you go through tough years. I've been through them myself. I've been through good years. I've been through bad years. And, the bad years certainly weigh on you. And I think it's important to be able to talk about that and know that there's other people struggling or that there's resources out there to kind of help you if you need. So it's been a cool experience to get to do that. We're coming up on our 10-year anniversary, so that's pretty exciting. I can't believe it's been 10 years since I started doing that, and it's making me feel pretty old, but it's been a cool thing that I've gotten to do over the years, and it's definitely helped me to keep in touch, with the community of Guelph, and also just to kind of spread a message that I obviously care about a lot.
That's that's great. And you're right though, being a hockey player. The fans show up, they think all these hockey guys have it so great, and then if your team struggles, you're not playing well, you're playing hurt, you're not doing what you expect of yourself, or you have issues outside of the arena that people don't know anything about. It can be difficult. And hockey players, you play in one country one year, you could be somewhere else the next year, and then the next year. And, it can almost feel like you don't have a home. And that's what's so exciting about getting home in the summers. But yeah, it's a great message you're sending and keeping in touch. It's like when hockey ended for me, I had my tough time because every season I had 20 best friends wherever I went. You get to show up, you're all on the same team. You have people to go for lunch with, you have people to do stuff with. And then when that was gone for me and you just start the real world, I missed my friends. And then starting this was never about making money, and I still don't. I do it because I miss my friends. I want to talk to them and see them and have fun. And then all this fun stuff has happened around the world from doing it. And it's like, huh, well, fun is fun, and it's made me a happier person. And um, I'm going to keep doing it for free. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, you got to find like your what your fix is or, kind of I
What
guess
makes
your
you
outlet.
happy?
I would say,
Outlet,
yeah, what
what
makes
makes
you
you happy?
happy,
What makes
right?
you smile?
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, it's a constant, it's ever changing, right? I think there's been some years or as I've gotten older, I've kind of realized that maybe some things were not doing it for me anymore. You kind of have to find new things, and it's, you're battling through ebbs and flows and peaks and valleys, however you want to characterize it. But yeah, it's tough. I mean, it's as much as it's a really cool experience. I think only people that have lived it understand what it's like to not have a home base or to be bouncing back and forth and
Or
into
move
this
to
league
a
and
whole
into that
new
league or move
country
to
and not
different
know a
countries
guy
and
on the team.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. But that it's funny, like thinking about that. Like this year, I really didn't know anyone who I was signing with. We obviously signed Patrick Grasso, who I was with in Innsbruck, but at the time that I signed, I didn't know any of the guys. And you're kind of thinking like, it's weird not knowing anyone really. But at the same time, like you get into town and you meet guys, and it's like it's pretty easy to become close friends and do stuff with each other. You're all like-minded guys, and
Oh
that
yeah.
part certainly makes it easier. But there's obviously different elements to that too. Like you're not with the guys all the time, so there's some quieter moments where you might miss home a little bit, or miss your buddies and stuff like that. And having different outlets is always I find helps for me if I have hobbies or different interests and stuff like that outside of the game that just kind of take my mind off things. So
Oh, totally. You can't think about hockey all the time when you're playing pro. Like it's a stressful job, especially in Europe when imports are supposed to produce what is expected, and it can be stressful when you have high expectations for yourself and all that. But speaking of going to a new team and not really knowing anybody you sign with, was when I signed with Cardiff. Andrew Lord was the coach. I played against him in Germany, but didn't know him. Just remember him cross-checking me in the back for no reason when I was the bumper guy in the power play and like had back spasms and everything. And he was telling me I was diving. I'm like, he cross-checked me from behind for no reason. Well, he signs me, and I know I'm going to play for him as the player coach. And I didn't know anybody else until they signed Trevor Hendricks, who I had been rookies with a decade earlier. And he writes, he's like, "Are you going to Cardiff?" And I'm like, "Are you going to Cardiff?" And then all of a sudden, I had a guy that I was brothers with, and we were going together. And then you see him in the airport on the way, and you're like, "Oh yeah, here we go." But the other thing was, once you sign on the team, and I'm hoping they did this for you, but they added me to like this email string or a group chat, and then I saw the messages getting sent back. I didn't know all the context and the stories and like the inside jokes, but the first email that came through once I had signed was the funniest email or group chat message I had ever read. I'm like, oh, these guys seem like dandies. And then at the end, it said Dr. Luke Piggott. I'm like, well, there's a doctor on my team. He was actually episode one when I started this. He was the first guy I talked to, and he was a cancer research doctor and a hockey player. And man, what a beauty he is. But then all of a sudden like you're like-minded guys when you get in a locker room, and it doesn't take long to really become
Mhm.
tight.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that part of the adjustment is definitely the easiest, right? Like you're nervous at first, maybe a little bit to meet some of the guys, but
Hopefully
you
you
get
guys
out
have hit the
together and
town because you got to hit the town right at the start
yeah.
before it all gets to become a grind.
Yeah, we had a few nights when I first got in that were pretty enjoyable. So we've been playing a lot of golf too, which has been nice. And
What's it called?
now that
Filthy
the
McNasty's?
season's
Is that the bar? I think it was called Filthy McNasty's is where our
uh,
team always went.
okay. I haven't been to that one, but I'll have to look it up. But yeah, we've gotten around to a few. It's been a lot of fun.
That's good. Yeah, because then once it gets all serious, it's all serious.
Mhm.
So the other thing that helped me though, other than doing the podcast, is coaching kids. I miss being on a hockey team. I miss joking around in a locker room and screwing around with people. And, I think that's hockey, being in a locker room and screwing around with people. Coaching kids and doing the podcast has brought back my love of hockey more than ever, I would say. And when I first came back, I hadn't set out, I hadn't done everything I'd set out to do in Europe. Um, Knee injury didn't help, but then all of a sudden it's over. You didn't do everything. You don't have the bank account you want, and then you don't have a team anymore. And it was a tough go for me. But then starting this and starting to realize maybe I did do some cool shit and I have some cool friends around the world. But then coaching kids, man, seeing them become a team, seeing them become brothers for life, seeing them do whatever it takes to win and getting hockey has brought it back so much for me. And then when we won all Ontario the last 2 years, now when I go to the grocery store, I go anywhere in town, I generally am going to run into an all Ontario champion. And like, it's fun seeing them every time, and they like seeing me every time, and it's a connection we'll have the rest of our lives. And you did that as a young buck too, eh? Because when I was holding that trophy, you look at all the towns that had won. It said 2009 Kincardine Canucks, and that would have been you and Skinny, eh?
Yeah, it's a long time ago now, but probably one of the most fun years I've had playing hockey. I mean, we did it all. We won regional silver stick at home,
So did
won
we.
international silver stick, and
We
then
lost in the
took it all.
finals. Zip
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, we did it all that year, the Triple Crown or however you want to call it. But yeah, we had a lot of fun. It was one of my most fond memories, I think,
Of
of
playing
being a
hockey.
minor
And
hockey player. Yeah.
I've been telling these kids, I'm like, you'll remember this
Yeah.
forever. And you'll be brothers for life, and winning is forever. And when you see those guys you would have won with, right? You have that connection forever.
hmm Yeah, no, it was pretty cool. Obviously, like we had awesome coaches too, like Brian Royal, who is a Kincardine legend. Like he was our coach and ended up coaching me in minor midget my last year of minor hockey too, which was pretty cool to see that kind of circle around. But between him and Lou Patino, like we learned a lot of new curse words and different things and a lot about ourselves and had a lot of fun doing it. And we were obviously lucky to have a pretty good little team with some local talent. So I mean, it was a lot of fun. I miss those days of being in Kincardine and you kind of, the Silver Stick games or the OMHA games, like, the arena would be filled with people and it was just like really cool as a 11-year-old kid to kind of see people coming out from the community and supporting you guys. And yeah, it was a lot of
Well,
fun.
so when you would have done it then, you would have been playing a series in the OMHA finals and it would have been playing at home. Now we go to a tournament and you got to win a tournament against all the other champions of their leagues. And it is different driving to Kingston and then the next year Georgetown. It ends up being only the team and the parents and maybe the grandparents that are there to support and celebrate. But what was pretty cool and kind of full circle for me last season was won it all. And then all those first years move on and are playing under 15, and they went to the All Ontarios too. They got put out on the Saturday, and they were right there. They were close, but everybody stayed the Saturday night. And like that whole team and all their parents came and watched our team, the under 13 team, play in the finals. And then all of a sudden there was a huge Kincardine section and it was awesome. And all those kids came right out on the ice with us after we won and were celebrating with everybody like they were
Yeah.
on the team with us. And I thought it was so hockey when the other team that was disappointed and lost all stuck around for Kincardine and for like me, Colby, Brady, and Andrew had won with them the year before. They all stuck around to support us and meant the world. But then you talk about the regional Silver Stick in Kincardine, which now they're not even the Kincardine Canucks anymore. I don't even know if we should talk about that because, I know we ended it right. We won it the last 2 years, but now they're the West Coast Whitecaps. But last season, knowing it was maybe the last Silver Stick in Kincardine, we're playing Walkerton in the finals, and they had a good team, good coach. We were down, and the kid I had switched from a D man to a forward at the start of the year. I thought he was making the team as a D man. Then Big Baz came in the last exhibition game and earned a spot as a D man. So then I'm like, okay, man, I told you you're on the team, so now you're a forward. And he did it all in stride. He did everything I asked. He'd get the red line, put it deep. He had like one, two goals that through so far that season. It's the end of December. The finals of Silver Stick, the kid scores a hat trick, ties it up with 3.5 minutes left, 4 minutes left. Usually I would have my six guys, six forwards that I would play when it was crunch time. And then he had already scored two goals. And I'm like, why is he sitting there? I'm like, he already has two goals. I got to put him out. So then I put him out and he goes top corner and scores. And we tie the game up. And then we go to overtime and my son scores the overtime winner. And I was like, oh my God, this is incredible. But the
Yeah.
arena was full. All of Kincardine was there. And for those kids to have the experience of playing in their hometown in front of a sold out barn, was really neat. And it was fun coaching that game, you know? Fun
Yeah, I
memories.
mean, yeah, that's like you think you wouldn't remember it all that much, but I have a pretty vivid memory of playing games in the Davidson Center at 11 years old and looking around, seeing all the people, and yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, obviously those young kids are just going out there and playing and probably think it's awesome now, but I know they'll look back on it and really enjoy it because I still do. So
And I do need to thank you for the first All Ontario Championship because I always say it takes everyone to win. The summer when I realized I knew I was going to be one of the coaches with Jared Adams, Beauty, um, I knew who mainly was going to be on the team for the most part. Um, well, we went to Godrich and skated with Ryan O'Reilly and yourself and some other beauties. And well, it's a big ice surface out there, and you guys didn't need the whole ice. So each time I would bring a couple of my puppies, and they would get to go on the ice with you and O'Reilly and Welshie and the boys. And it was incredible for those kids, and I'm sure they're going to remember that. And I was very thankful that you guys did that, the way you guys interacted with them. And then, getting inspired can help guys, right? And one of those kids that came out with you that day was my captain, scored the All Ontario Championship winning goal with a few minutes left.
There you go.
Mm. That's hockey, eh?
Yeah, that's hockey. Yeah.
But you've skated with O'Reilly for a while, eh? Like, you guys, I wish I would have trained like that in the summers when I was a pro hockey player. I was in Elmira kind of by myself in the summers with not many pro guys that were skating, so I just wouldn't skate in the summers. You guys go out there and get better.
Yeah, I mean, we're obviously just following what Ryan wants to do, and I think anytime you get on the ice with a guy like that, you're just trying to be a sponge and just do what he's trying to get you to do. So a lot of the stuff is certainly even a little advanced for my skill set, but it's a good challenge for sure. And I think it's something that my best summers I feel like of my career have been the ones that I've been on the ice with the with Ryan and both with Cal too.
Right.
But yeah, it was kind of a bummer this summer. Like they took the ice out in Goderich for most of the time that I was home, so we didn't get out on the ice together and kind of scrapping for ice and around Owen Sound and trying
Mm.
to figure things out. So it's a bit
Well,
of a
it was a
grind out
hell of a
to
setup. I
out.
remember
Yeah,
it started when I was still playing. I went out to the free skate at like 6 a.m. by myself, skating around like an idiot, shooting pucks by myself. And then you guys all came out with your equipment on, and I'm like, what's this now? And then you guys let me skate with you, and then saw I could play too. And then I got to keep coming. And then like
yeah,
O'Reilly had the locker room for the week, and you just leave your equipment there like you were a pro hockey player. It's great.
yeah. It was pretty cool setup. They definitely did it right. I mean, but yeah, he's got certainly a lot more pull than a lot of us in that arena, which helps. But
Yeah.
yeah, he's an awesome guy.
Well, bringing the Stanley Cup to the arena would help, and that
Yeah,
it was how I reconnected with him, was taking the kids to see the Stanley Cup, and we went up for our photo, and I was like, "Hey, man, you remember me?" He was like, "Hey, how are you?" And then he needed a puck mover a few years later because there's nobody around to move pucks for him, and I was more than willing to learn. And then I took a lot of those drills and used them with my under 13 boys.
hmm yeah. He's got some good stuff. I mean, if you anyone who's watching this, if you got a chance, look them up on YouTube and see some of the stuff that they do in the summer. It's pretty
They
unbelievable.
got it
So
on YouTube. I thought it was a
yeah,
secret. I thought we
there's
were the
like
only ones that do.
no. There's like an
Shoot.
old NHLPA video. It's like I don't know, it'd be 10 years old now, but it's like of him and Cal in the summer times, and it's just like it's so sick the stuff that they do. So yeah, it's pretty cool to kind of experience that.
Oh yeah, they're pros, and the cool part about him though too is when you're at the arena with like a star and a future Hall of Famer, and it's amazing when people see him like um, how many autographs he needs to sign a day, how many pictures, and he does it all, but he talks to them like he cares and he wants to get to know every kid. And we had this family that would watch us every time me and him would go on the ice together, and they'd sit there every day and watch. And then they started bringing us Gatorades for when we were done. And he would take 5, 10 minutes and talk to the dad, the kids after. And there's not many guys out there that are as that good at hockey and have the time for people like he does.
hmm
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, even to us too, like you're coming in the locker room, like you're pretty intimidated by a guy like that who's playing in the NHL, but he makes you feel very comfortable, and
I
he's
was
just like a
nervous.
really
I
good
was
guy.
really
Yeah.
nervous.
Yeah, like he's just such a good guy, like so down to earth. So it's pretty cool. It's been
Well,
cool to get
I
to know
thought
him a
it
little
was
bit over the
neat.
summers.
I thought it was neat for those kids I got to take out was that they got to go out, but then they also got to be in the locker room with us after the skate. And everybody's just shooting the shit about hockey and this season and that season and where people are going and where they've played. And the kids were just soaking it up. But then I remember the first time it was just me, O'Reilly, the first time. And then the next time there was a lot of ice there. I'm like, can I bring my son and he can just be at the other end? And then did that. And then it's the end of practice. At the end, when he was done, he was like, okay, tell your son to come down. And then they started doing drills together, just the two of them. And I'm like, man, this is incredible.
hmm
And then we got off the ice. O'Reilly gets in the shower and let out a big fart. And my son looked at me and he's like, he f- he farted. And like you could see the look on his face. He's like, man, he farts just like we do. And I'm like, yeah, he's a normal guy, just
Yeah.
like everybody is. He's just really good at hockey, you know?
Yeah.
And sometimes growing up, you can put people so far on a pedestal that you don't think you could ever be that guy, but they're just regular people too.
Yeah,
Well,
definitely.
but
I
he's
mean,
pretty awesome.
he's pretty awesome. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, okay, what's your favorite drill in practice? Because, I do like coaching. I didn't go with the West Coast Whitecaps. I'm still a Canuck. I'm coaching the under 11 rep girls Kincardine Canucks. So
Very nice.
what's your favorite drill in practice?
Um, that's a good question. I'm a big fan of like the wakey three pass with the drop underneath. I'm sure you've done that one. Maybe it's not called wakey wakey to you,
I've
but
never heard of a wakey wakey.
yeah, I'd have to draw it up. You've definitely done it before because it's a pretty simple drill, just like a good morning skate warm up drill. But I like any drill that like the defense get to jump up in the play. So there's a few that one we used to run when I was in Reading. I can't remember what it was called, but it was basically like you play a 2-on-1, then you play a 3-on-1 on the way back, and then the last rep is like the D gets to jump up in the play, and then you end up with the puck and you get to make a play. So there's a lot of, I mean, at practice now we do a lot of defending, which is good because I always need to work on that stuff. But um, that was a good one in Reading. I used to love when K-Mac would pull that one out because we got to jump up in the play and make stuff happen. So I
You know
go with
what?
that one. I like Wakey Wakey a lot. But
Wakey wakey, eh? That's, I'm
mhm.
guessing make sure your passes are on is why it's called wakey wakey.
Yeah, well, I mean, usually, traditionally, at least in my career, it's kind of been like the first drill morning skate every year, every place that I've been almost. So it's
The
one of those ones.
first
You'd know it if
skate
I
of
drew it up
morning
for you for
skate.
sure. The first drill of morning skate.
And what do you do? Tell me. What do you do?
Well, you like so everyone's at the four blues, and then you step up off the line and like head towards the far blue line, get a pass, give it back to that guy. You turn around, get a pass from your original line, give it back, and then you skate across the blue line, get a pass from the guy on the far side, give it back to him, and then he steps out underneath you, passes it to you, you go down and shoot, and then he carries on up to the up
Right.
to the
And then
other
he
blue line.
starts.
Yeah, so
So it's
it's
just
just a flow
it's one of
drill.
those four blue line drills.
Yeah, yeah, but it's called
Mhm.
wakey wakey.
Okay. Well, yeah, I get it. I use the four blues all the time still, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
it's a good one. I like that one.
Okay. Yeah, good answer. Um, okay. I wonder if my girls can pull that off. Every age group I coach is totally different, and you got to come up with different drills. But this season, pretty calm for me. I'm an assistant coach. The coach shows up with drills and a practice plan, and I just move pucks around and make sure they're where they're supposed to be and make sure everybody's having fun. But this under 11 girls team. They've had this fantastic goalie their whole time. She's awesome. She can stop pucks. Well, she made the boys team. She's playing for the West Coast Whitecaps. So then all of a sudden this gals team has no goalie. Well, the our biggest defenseman, who could play, has always wanted to be a goalie her whole life, and Dad wouldn't let her. Now the team has no goalie. Well, she says she's going to be the rep goalie. Never seen her play. Go out to the first practice. This girl is that she's takes a lot of the net. She's tall and she moves like a goalie. And then we had her do skating drills with the players in her full goalie gear, and she was beating girls in skating drills. And her first game ever as a goalie, she got a shutout
Oh wow, nice.
and stopped a whole bunch of pucks. And she's going to change a whole season because she's a goalie and she's just starting. It's pretty fun to see.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Hmm. So who have you guys played so far?
Well, we started with like the Champions League games, so we were
Oh, you guys were doing that. We haven't even talked about that.
yeah, we
Where'd you guys
were
go for
we had
that?
two games at home against Finnish teams, and then a couple weekends ago we were in Switzerland. We played Lausanne and Zug, so that was a pretty cool experience. Obviously, they're very good hockey teams, so we were definitely in a little tough, but It was pretty cool to get to check out Switzerland and be there for a weekend and travel around a little bit and have a bit of time to explore in a couple lovely
Switzerland's
cities. So
quite lovely, isn't it?
yeah, it was a pretty awesome time. And then last weekend we opened up against Dundee. We lost a stinker at home, and then we went to Fife the next day and beat them. So
Mm. My buddy is the president of the Fife Flyers now. But they got all reborn this year with new owners and the whole deal. They had a terrible year last season. So hopefully they turn it around, but maybe not against the Devils and you guys, right?
hmm
Hmm. Uh, you guys lost to Dundee, eh? You guys must have been upset after that one.
yeah, that was a bit of a tough one to swallow. We just kind of
Yeah, it
bleeding goals,
happens.
and yeah, it happens. I mean, that's why you drop the puck, right? So, but it was a learning curve for us early in the year. It's, I guess, in a sense, better now than later, but yeah, I don't know. I think it'll steer us in the right direction. I feel like heading into this weekend.
Did you ever look up in at the retired jerseys and think my jersey was retired in Belfast?
I did see the Walton jersey up there, but I
And
figured it
number and
wasn't
num
you just because I know enough about where you've been. But
right, but it's also number 18 too.
yeah, kind of. I did a double take my first
I
time on
took
the
a
ice at
double
the
take.
SSE, and I was
I'm
like,
like, who's this guy?
yeah,
Like, how is there a Walton 18 retired somewhere that I don't even know who this guy is?
yeah, yeah,
But what's funny is it's right beside 44 Kelman, who was the GM of Cardiff. Main reason I started this podcast and a whole bunch of stuff was because of that guy. And it's 44 Kelman beside 18 Walton in Belfast. And he became the GM of Cardiff. He's the guy I reached out to make my own deal there. And then also the same guy that, you're out of the game, it's all over, blah, blah, blah. Um, he was the one that invited me back to Cardiff for a Wally night. And well, it changed my life. I realized I missed being that guy, that being the hockey guy in the real world isn't really a problem. You can act like yourself in the real world too. And then when I started this, it was a lot to do with him. And because of him bringing back my love of hockey, reminding me who I actually am. And I think it's funny every time I see those jerseys up there in
yeah,
Belfast. I just think it's funny because it's not me, but it makes sense to me. You know what I mean?
yeah. I know what you mean.
And if you ever want to see a funny video of hockey guys in the UK being hockey guys, check out their video on YouTube that he created with the Belfast Giants when he was the GM there. Um, it's that Mariah Carey Christmas song,
Oh yeah,
and they did a whole deal with the team, and it's really funny.
yeah. I'll have to check it out.
I always found it neat when Belfast came to Cardiff my first year. You play in Germany, it's stressful. You're an import. You're on good teams, you're on bad teams, and like you said, there's some tough years. And then you go to the UK, and we would play in our shitty old big blue tent, and then both teams would go out to this little lobby and everybody would be having beers together after the game. And I'm like, wow, this is so hockey. Like Belfast, Cardiff guys all hanging out after we just mucked it up. And I thought it was so neat. And then it started making me realize, like, why can't we all be friends even though we're on different teams?
hmm
Hmm. And now I'm
Yeah,
having a
yeah,
Belfast Giant on my podcast, eh?
yeah.
Um, Other thing I wanted to bring up though before we're done. I've had you on by yourself before. Had you on with Riker, who's now a Hanover Indian in the German third league. Um, Great guy, and hope he's having fun in Germany because Germany is fun. And looks like he had a hell of a season last year.
hmm
But I helped coach the Ripley Wolves last season, and Ethan Skinner was on the team, and I had him on when he was playing at somewhere, Netherlands maybe or something, and
Yep.
I was pumping his tires, and he's a great guy, great dude. And anyways, rumor has it he was like an inch away from signing with the Cardiff Devils not long after, and then they made a coaching change and it didn't happen. Well, then he joins the real world, starts working for a living, like me, and starts playing for the Ripley Wolves, like I did when I got here. And having him on the team when I was helping coach, it was crucial. He was like the things I was thinking in my head that I should say to the players. He would come off the ice after doing everything right and staying on the D side of the puck, doing everything simple, not turning it over. Then he would come to the bench and hold his teammates accountable. And he would say what I was thinking in my head. And then I'm like, so now it doesn't have to come from a coach. It can come from
Yeah.
a player. And I was like, okay, I'll just watch him coach. And then there's a time it was 5-on-6. So we had the lead. The other team's goalie's pulled. They call a timeout. Coach looks at me. He's like, "Do you want to say anything?" And I'm like, took a second, and then Skinny just started telling everybody what to do. And I was like, "We're good." And
Yeah,
then we
he's
get we get to the playoffs, and we should have won the semis quicker. We're up 3-0. The other team wins a couple games, and then Skinny gets hurt in that game six that we never should have played. And then you got to go into the finals with the guy that does everything right, that scores the big goal, that plays both sides of the puck, but also like penalty kill power play, but holds his teammates accountable. And like trying to play the finals without him, it was like I'd look at the bench and be like, well, who do I put out? Because I don't have him. It sucked not
yeah.
having him.
Yeah, I mean, he's been like that since we were young. Like he's certainly a passionate guy when it comes to, I think, anything in his life. And I think he was certainly a voice like when we even when we were young kids, like he'd be hollering at guys and whatnot, and says a lot of
Making
the
sure they're
things
doing it
that,
right.
yeah, says a lot of the things that maybe some of us are want to say but don't have the courage to. But he's certainly an open book in that sense, but at the same time, like he's also accountable to himself. Like he's the first person that'll look in the mirror when he's playing bad or not doing the right things and make the adjustment type thing. So I mean he's obviously like I always thought he was such a talented player and should have got way more opportunity than he did playing. And
I
but even
totally
still, if
agree.
you look at what he did, like to go from the GOJHL to play in U Sports, I know it doesn't happen too often anymore, even so. For him to do that and then to go on a team where there's guys that are coming out of major junior that have played 4 or 5 years and he's getting more points than them, scoring more goals and playing on the power play, like he should have gotten a lot more opportunity than he did. It just sometimes that's the way the cookie crumbles. But yeah, he's a hell of a human being and a hell of a hockey player too. So
Well, and him, our history goes back quite a ways too. Now that I think about it, when you were saying this and not getting opportunity, was I knew how good he was. He played in Elmira for the Sure Kings and was the captain. They won the Sutherland Cup, and I was thinking like, why isn't this guy going anywhere? Like, I want Elmira Sure Kings going places, and I hear what people are saying about this guy. And so then when I moved to this town, he had reached out to me and we went for breakfast and talked hockey and where he was at. And he had gone out to BC as a kid, like a kid, leaves everything he knows, leaves where he's from, and gets there and isn't feeling it after a couple weeks and wants to come back and he wants to be a Sure King and he wants to play in my hometown and be near his hometown. And that makes sense to me. Um, I reached out to Western Michigan, didn't know the coaches at the time, but I'm like, hey, what is the deal? Like, why isn't this guy getting looks? And I tried to do some research for him. And they told me that he had a red flag because he didn't stay in BC. And I'm like,
yeah,
so you're telling me a kid that is from a small town that has grown up like the kids do around here because he doesn't want to go live out in BC by himself when he's whatever age, you're telling me he's not committed? That doesn't make sense. And he's like, well, if he wants to go anywhere, he can't play in Elmira. He has to go here or there. And it pissed me off so much because when I was a Sure King, we got like 8 or 9 scholarships. And now you're telling me you got to leave my hometown to get a scholarship? I was so mad. And then you see him play, and you're like, yeah, man, you slipped through the cracks. Like,
yeah,
if he would have gone to Cardiff, man, they would have loved him and he would have never left.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I can't say anything else other than you're right. I truly believe it, but he's doing all right now. He's
I
got it
know
all
he's got
figured
like
out,
a
but
good job and like
yeah.
works for a living, but hey, he's
Yeah,
working is still different than playing hockey for a
I know.
living.
Yeah, yeah,
But you got to start sometime.
yeah,
But you're only 28. You still got some air left in the tires, tread on the
yeah,
tires.
yeah. It's kind of one of those things. It's, you know, go through
Yeah.
every year and see how the body's feeling. And I've
What the
been banged up a
opportunities are
little
at the
bit.
end
Yeah,
too,
and what
right?
the opportunities are too. And but yeah, I think I've kind of landed myself in a good spot, and it'll be fun to try and compete for a few trophies this year and see how that goes,
Well,
and
winning is
enjoy it a
fun,
little more than getting cobbed every game. So I'm
right?
excited for that. And
I think yeah, your team is going to be good. I hate to say it, and I know there'll be Devils fans not upsetting that I say that, but the Belfast Giants are good every year, and they are fighting for every trophy every year, just like my Devils. And I'm looking forward to seeing what you do over there because it's neat that you know I just saw a bunch of kids I coached, and I'm like, you guys got any questions for Garrett McFadden on the podcast? I'm about to talk to him on lunch here. And the one guy asked me, he's like, what number does he wear? And I'm like,
21.
21 now. I thought you're
Yeah,
27. Your email
I was
screams
in
27.
junior. Yeah, I know. That's when I made it when I was in junior. So you can't
Yeah,
change an
I
email,
hear
right?
you. Mine says Ted. I'm an 18.
Yeah.
So 21?
Yeah, I was 21. I was 21 in minor well, 14 when I was in Kincardine, and then 21 when I started playing with the Highlanders. When I got drafted to Guelph, Brock McGinn was 21, so I couldn't take his number because he's a much better player than I am. And
Don't
then
sell
I picked
yourself short.
27, next best thing, and wore 27 through pro in Pop Rad, and then I was like 38 in Czech, and then
Yeah.
21 in the other years. So
So why 21?
my birthday's on August 21st.
There we go, folks. Don't forget to send
Yeah,
them a
there you
birthday
go.
gift.
Yeah, it already passed, but thanks.
Oh, gee. Right. Well, I would have sent you one, but you didn't come to the golf tournament.
Yeah, for sure.
But no, thanks for making the time for me. I got to get back to the real world. Not everybody's
Yeah.
still a pro hockey player. But yeah, good luck this season and
Thank you.
good luck against everybody but the Cardiff Devils and when you play in Manchester. So do you know about the chocolate?
I do.
Okay.
I do. I've seen your stuff, the
Okay.
chocolate storm, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
So if they beat you in Manchester, there will be a lot of chocolate. That won't be for you because you didn't deserve it. You didn't earn it,
right.
right?
Yeah.
So, you know, I wouldn't want to get crazy and like tell Jake, my director of farm marketing here, but if you guys did beat Manchester and you earned it, you earned the chocolate, they didn't. If somebody threw you a chocolate bar because they know you're a good dude and on the team, that would be hockey, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that would be hockey. Yeah. They can
That would
throw
be.
chocolate if we win there. I'll be happy to see some chocolate on the ice there.
Just for you, not for the whole team. We're not
Well,
supporting Belfast. Your coach still hasn't come on. He told me he was gonna get through his testimonial and this and that. And originally he said he doesn't do podcasts. Now he's starting to open up a bit. I'm starting to
okay.
crack him here. Not like the reverse hit, but he said that I do a good job and that he is interested, but he had to get through a few things. I haven't reached out again since, but we're not Belfast Giants fans. We're your fan. If your coach comes on and talks to me, it might help, but fun is fun though, right? But if
Yeah, fun
if
is
you
fun.
guys did win in Manchester, what chocolate bar would you want?
I don't know. Give me something local, or what do they throw out?
Well, there's twirls for the girls when I coached under nine gals. There's well, Buenos for the boys when I was coaching what was that under 11? We had a Buenos for the boys night in Cardiff. They threw a bunch of Buenos on the ice. I don't know if you like hazelnuts. They're delicious.
Yep. Yeah, I like Bueno for sure. It's good.
Okay.
Bueno
So,
works for me.
so if Manchester's playing Belfast and everybody's bringing their chocolate for the storm, and maybe things don't go their way, if one person could bring a Bueno, and throw it to you, will you at least take a picture and send it to me so I can say, hey,
Yeah,
haha,
I'll do my
we
best.
did that?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that would show people do listen to me talk and will do what I ask.
All right, sounds good.
Okay. Well, good luck this season. The other thing I would only had to say was I had two times in my career where I needed to love hockey again. It was after North America when it didn't go my way my rookie year, and I realized I wasn't going places really. I went to Landshut, Germany, and found my love of hockey again, and then winning again and beating Heim the next season. Then I had some tough years. They weren't that fun. Um, but then I needed another boost, and it was going to Cardiff and the UK League, where hockey was hockey again. And I loved every second of it. And the fans were great. The people were great. My teammates were great. And I loved hockey again, you know? So
Hmm.
I hope you have fun and love hockey this
Yeah,
season.
I hope so too.
And this has been another episode of Two Ales and Hockey Tales with Mac, and Wally. Go
Fads.
Devil, go Devils,
No,
Fads, go
go
Devils.
Giants.
Okay, I gotta hit stop now.